Good afternoon, folks. I am trying to get myself going. It's been a really long and drug out weekend. I'm having to go south. I got to go to Panama City and pick up a few things, and then I'll be headed home. Got to go pick up my prescriptions. It's not my hair. My hair ain't that long. Anyhow, I just wanted to touch base with all of you. We've been so tied up and so busy with everything going on. It has been hectic. Just flat out hectic. I've got quite a few articles. I've been trying to get the articles done, and I had a train wreck on the articles. I've ended up, I kept messing up, and it was on my part. And I went, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, I had went up to the property, got some work done, and it got too hot. It ended up hitting 108 degrees, and that was not the heat index, the real feel. That was the actual temperature. The heat index, I think it was 124, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm not positive on that. Anyhow, I walked around. I walked a part of the property that I've only been on one time, and that was when I was putting markers on the trees down the boundary line between our property and our friend's property, whose borders ours. And that was the only time I've ever been right there in that area, was when I put those markers up. I opened my hunting GPS, and using that map, I walked the property line on the west side, and I just put pink ribbons on the trees about every 40 or 50 foot, so that we would know if we're out there hunting and wandering around, we don't end up on our buddy's property. We're friends with him and his wife. We've known them for several years, but they hunt that property, and we don't need any issues. I don't want to cause them a hard time. They've been good to us, and I'd like to keep that relationship going with them. And so we marked the boundary, because there is no fences. Everything out there is wooded. But that was the only time that I'd been at that particular spot. That was the southwest side of the property. And so, day before yesterday, when I got done with the work I was doing, I had to take a break. It was just too doggone hot, and so I went for a walk out through the forested part of the property to where I was under the shade of the tree canopy. And it wasn't cool, but it was definitely cooler than being out in the direct sunlight. I did not experience anything that I could say was from one of the big guys. I did get an odd feeling in one particular place on the property, and it was a small area. When I walked through it, it just, you could feel that something, you just feel off canter, like you're leaning. When you're in that one area, it feels like you're leaning, and it's not a big area. I got out of it, everything felt normal, and so I turned and I walked back into that same spot to see if it was just a coincidence maybe that I thought I had that feeling, and well, when I walked back into that spot, it happened again. And I think there's something under the ground. There were Brother Don Moore told me he's seen some comments, people mentioning ley lines, and I think there's probably something to that. I did get a EMF meter. It's just I didn't pay for it, but it seems like it's probably a fairly inexpensive little, just about that big. It's called the numbers on it, the model is K11 or K2. I'm not sure if it's a Roman numerals 2 or if it's a 11 for 11, but anyway, that's what that EMF is. And I didn't bring it with me. I had it in the truck, and so when I got in that area the second time, and I went back in it to see if it was causing me to feel that way or if it was just me, my head. And I took my backpack off and I went through my stuff to get the EMF meter out, and I didn't even put it in the backpack. It was sitting right here in my camera case the whole time I left it. And I wasn't about to go back to the truck and come back in there. It was a pretty long walk, and it was hot. It was just a miserable day. But I got back to the truck and I got the camera set up, and I had been filming the whole time I was walking out there, so I had probably an hour and a half or more of footage on one battery. And when I got to the truck, I got me a bucket set where I could sit down under the big oak and started sharing articles. Got highway patrol up here. Don't know what's going on here. Oh, the power pole's out. The stoplight, there's no power. We just went through a bad storm, and our power got knocked out of the house too. But anyhow, I started doing the articles, and the ones that I did were quite long. And first article, I got it completed. I started the second article, and I completed it, and I got up to close the video out. I walked up to the camera, and the camera was powered off. So I turned it back on, and it said less than 1% battery. I run it all the way down to 0. And so I changed the battery out, and I checked the files, what I already recorded, to see where it cut off at. And I found the spot, and so I marked it in the articles. I started recording again, and I sat down and I picked up where I left off, where the battery died. And it was about 4 or 5 pages that I missed when the battery died. It was quite a bit of reading. Well, I finished it, I redone it, got it all completed. I stood up, closed the video out, and I walked up, turned the camera off, and I noticed the microphone was turned off. The wireless mic, that's what I'm using right now. I couldn't see the digital screen on the microphone because the sunlight, it was so bright out. And I went ahead, and I was so hot I couldn't do it a third time. And so I drove home. I got home, I offloaded the videos to my tablet and started listening to the part where my battery died on me. When I turned the camera or when the camera shut back off. When I checked in, it said less than 1% battery. I had to take the camera off the attachment so that I could get the battery out and replace the battery. Well, I powered the microphone off while I was doing that to try to, ooh, this light's out too. Doggone, I just went right through it. Oh, all of them are out. I'm in Southport now, just north of Lynn Haven. I'm in Bay County, Florida. You have Southport, Lynn Haven, and then Panama City. And all the stoplights are out. Oh, the gas stations are out of power. Everything's out of power. We had a pretty nasty lightning storm about an hour ago. Anyhow, I got home and I was going through the footage. The audio was nice and clear, and I got to the point where the battery had died, and I replaced the battery and turned the microphone off, which I forgot to turn it back on. And when I got to that point, the volume was really, really low. I was sitting about 15 feet in front of the camera, and I was just talking. I wasn't yelling. I was just talking, reading the articles, normal volume, speech volume. And there's just no way to increase the volume levels in editing to where I can match them up. Even if I lower the volume in the areas where everything was working the way it's supposed to, if I lowered that volume and then the portion where the microphone was powered off, if I raise that volume up where the volume levels are pretty close to being even, there's so much background noise, the wind blowing through the leaves, just a little breeze. It wasn't much, but I had off and on these breezes that started. And it was so loud, it was just the rustling of the leaves, the birds chirping in the background. You just couldn't hear the articles at all. And so that was my third attempt at getting these articles out. I keep doing stupid things that are messing the audio up or the video up. All these errors that I've had these last 4 days were they were just human error. It was my mistake. It wasn't nothing the camera done. I got over 2 hours on the battery, 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was quite a bit of footage on the one battery. And I didn't even think, I was so hot I didn't think to check the battery when I got back. But anyhow, outside of that, got all the articles here, and I'm going to try to, I am going to do them in a live show, I hope. The hardest part of doing a live show at the house, Chrissy stays up. She goes over to her place to take care of her animals. She gets back and she's up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, watching TV. And I can't, the microphone on the computer, if I do a live show from the computer, it picks up everything. It's just it's not a high-end mic, but it picks up the dogs. If they're walking around, you hear their nails hitting the wood floor. You hear the little chickens that she hatched out. There's just so much background noise. It's going to be really hard to do it from the computer, and I don't know where else to do it at, but I'm going to try to do them in a live show. If I can't do it, then maybe I can do the articles, and I've got a lot of video footage on the computer Kim and I took the four-wheeler up to the property, and we left there on the four-wheeler, and we rode to Blue Pond or Blue Hole. Went swimming for a while, and I've got some good footage of all the brim that come up, all the fish that were coming up around us, and we took a long way. We went from Fountain, Florida, all the way over to, I think, Wausau. Went from Highway 231 all the way over to Highway 77, which is west of 231. When we finally got back to the property, it was 31.1 miles or 32.1 miles that we had done on the four-wheeler. It was so hot. But I've got all that footage. I had the camera mounted on the four-wheeler, and I filmed the ride. I filmed everything. But I may be able to do the articles and just record it on the microphone, get the audio of the articles. I can't even speak, I'm sorry. And then use the footage when we went on the four-wheeler ride and went to Blue Pond, the Blue Hole. Use that video footage with the articles, just put that audio on top of it. But I'll figure something out. I want to get these articles out. Very fascinating. And these articles, one of them has to do with something that I myself have seen one time, and but I'll share all that with you when we do a live show. I'll explain, and the somewhat of a confirmation that I had of those beings, those creatures existing. But anyhow, we are in Lynn Haven. I am at the intersection where the pharmacy is. I just got to pull in here and pick up my prescription. I have to pick up blood pressure medication every month, and the thyroid medicine, and just a bunch of junk that I don't like taking. But I don't feel very good if I don't take it. But I want to show you guys something when we get over here. I just got to cross this intersection. I'll park. I'm going to show you what Chrissy and Kim. Chrissy is she's in some group or club. I'm not sure what it is, but they get these coupons, and when they get them, it's usually at night, and it's only for I don't know if it's minutes or a couple of hours. I don't know how long the coupons are good for, but they're not good for very long at all. But they get items for a penny at either Dollar General or Dollar Tree. I'm not sure which one. We got a bunch of blankets for the goats. One time her and Kim went to several different stores and took advantage of that penny shopping. And they got probably 50 of these little blankets, these little, I don't know the material, they're pretty soft, but they got a bunch of them, and we used them for the goats. But I think I'm gonna go through the drive-through. Yeah, I'll go to the drive-through. Let me show you what they got for me right quick. Just gonna crack you up. This is what Chrissy and Kim had picked up. Emergency underpants. 3 pairs of emergency underpants. And they come in there and brought a few boxes of them to me. And I have not opened them, no, so I don't know what they look like. But they pick on me because I don't go out and just buy new clothes. For one, I can't afford it, but my entire life, I'll wear my clothes until they're not wearable anymore. I wear them out. And they're always making fun of me because of my boxer shorts. I'll wear them to where the only thing that's left is the band that goes around your waist. I mean, I wear them they turn into a skirt. My shirts, I know you guys noticed, I wear the same shirts. These black ones here, I carry extra shirts with me because I sweat so bad. These black ones, I bought 2 packs of 6 of the black t-shirts from Walmart, and I've got, I think, 4 shirts left. I bought a pack of blue ones, and recently Kim picked me up another pack of the black ones, but they're a little small. I'm fat. I wear a XX, and she got me a extra large, and it feels like I'm putting a bra on when I put them on. They're too tight for me. Well, give me just a few minutes. I'm waiting in line. I think I'm going to go and park and go inside. There's vehicles behind me. It's so hot. I don't know if I can control my camera from the app with it turned on. It's recording right now. Yep, I'm moving. I'm trying to connect it to my phone to my camera. Oh wow, it did connect. Good deal. I've never used the app to control the camera yet, and it works as far as I know with all the DJI cameras. I'm looking at the screen. Boy, my truck's messy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go in. But I do want to share something with you guys right quick while I'm remembering. Our sister Nancy McDonald, the majority of you guys and gals know who she is. She's amazing. She's been part of our family for quite a long time. And Nancy had sent me a link to a video, and I watched it, and I do not remember the name of the channel that it's on, but I will put that video, I'll put the link in the description below this video. And listening to it, he's talking about the sounds people are hearing, these weird mechanical like sounds people are hearing coming from the sky. Sometimes it seems like it's coming from the ground. Just the weird sounds and the horns and the sirens you hear, and it sounds like they're coming from the sky. And it's happening all over the country. It's not just, here where we live or right there where you live. It's happening worldwide. And the fella was talking about that, and then the severity of the storms that we're getting, the frequency of them, earthquakes, and like the ones that happened recently where the earth would shake, and I have felt it several times, probably 4 or 5 times. And each time I thought it was me. I thought I was would just kind of tremble, but it happened twice. It may have happened like 6 times. 2 times I was at home on the couch, and like the house just kind of done this little shimmy. But what I've never done is I never researched the earthquake, the seismometer, whatever they call the equipment that detects the earthquakes. Well, this guy dug into it and he researched it pretty deep, and when people were feeling these tremors, they'd pull up the earthquake map that has all the stations, that has the electronics that detect movement of the plates, and they're not showing anything. But the earth is definitely shaking, the ground's shaking. Are we in the end of days? I believe so. I really do think that we are. But just everything he talks about, the majority of that stuff, I too have witnessed it. And I'd like for you guys, if you get time, go over, check that video out. I'd like to have a discussion on that, but I don't know enough about it. But if you get time, watch it. It's fascinating, and it'll kind of open your eyes to some of the stuff that we're dealing with as a whole. All of us worldwide, not just in the U.S., but worldwide, these events are happening. Is it where the Bible speaks of the earth crying out to God's people? Is that what's happening? We live in a strange time, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing it. They're getting these lights in the sky, these craft. The UFO craft are showing up quite often. I recorded one, I think it was last year, hunting season. I pulled out of the woods, and where I pull out on the pavement, straight across the road from where we come out of the woods is a huge, it's just crops. They grow peanuts, soybean, and cotton, depending on, they rotate them out. And I don't remember what was growing last year, but there was a giant craft that was out on that field, and it was just hovering. It was probably 4 or 5 feet off the ground, and it was real slowly just sliding, going across that field, and the lights were so bright, and I filmed it on my phone. It's actually on a short. I uploaded it as a short because I only had, I filmed 5 or 6 clips, but they were all 15 to 30 seconds long. They were real short. I had to pull out and get home, and it creeped me out seeing it. The very next morning, we went hunting the same spot, and when we left that morning around 10, I guess, 10 or 11, we come out to take a break, and when I pulled out of the road, I was with Chris, and we checked, and there's nothing out in that field. There's no equipment out there. There's no houses. There's no structures. It's just a huge open field. I don't know, probably around 800 to 1,000 acres. And it's woods at the far opposite side of where we were at. It's a wood line way back there. Probably a quarter of a mile from the highway, and this thing was at probably halfway across that field, but it was big as a school bus. But we've been seeing stuff like that. I stand by just a minute. Let me get my prescription. I gotta put my ID up right quick. When you come in the drive-through, for some reason you have to show an ID. Make sure you filled the right one. Okay, we're good to go. All right, sorry. Guys, I hope the wind noise isn't very bad. I got the mic in my shirt, right? That little black spot you see, there's a magnet, there's a clip on it where you can clip it to cold shoe where you can clip it to your shirt or whatever you need to clip it to. But on the back of that clip is a very, very strong magnet to where you can do like what I did here. Just drop the mic inside of my shirt, put the magnet on the outside to hold it. But what I was talking about with this UFOs, whatever they are, man-made or not, they're happening quite frequently. They're being picked up on cell phone cameras, these Ring doorbell cameras, security cameras. They're being caught daily. People are capturing this stuff on video. And, you know, I think some of them are man-made, but the majority of that stuff, I don't know. I don't know if we have that ability to create a craft that can take off from a dead stop to whatever ridiculous speed it is and vanish out of sight and, you know, just cover several hundred miles in a quarter of a second. I don't think we're there yet. But whatever's happening, everything's ramping up. The people encountering Sasquatch, these werewolf creatures, these half human, half animal creatures, these little frog people, and just all of the different cryptids that are being captured is it connected to these sounds? There's people are hearing grinding sounds, or hearing growling noises coming from the earth and coming from the sky. They go out in their yard with their phones and their cameras and they're filming, and you can clearly hear the noise, but there's nothing to create the noise. Is it the gates of the bottomless pit? Is that sound them things opening, or is it something larger that's trying to get through into this realm that we live in? I don't know. I have more questions than answers by far. The time in which we're living right now, high strangeness is through the roof. There is so much going on that doesn't make sense. Creatures being seen that are just the things you would find in Hollywood, in a Hollywood movie set, and people are seeing them, they're witnessing them. Whether they're out in the forest, out on a fishing boat, or just walking through their house or their neighborhood, they're seeing just strange things, strange beings. And I do not think these things we're seeing are robotic. I believe they are living life forms of some type. Whether they're demonic or not, I don't know, but it's just more questions than answers. But the times that we're in right now, things are happening that I don't think have ever happened. A lot of stuff is just coming back around again. It's happening again. You know, that big circle of life. But then again, there's a lot that just hasn't been documented before. You know, right now we got our sun. It's in its hibernation stage, solar minimal. And from what the study or research that I've done, they claim that the sun will go into this solar hibernation once every 203 years. It'll cool down for a little while, and then it warm back up. These little 15 or 30 year cycles. But I think the one that we're in right now, I think this is a big one. The Earth is cooled down as a whole. The Earth is cooler than it's been in our lifetime. Everybody's in a hurry. I need to put cameras around the truck where you guys can see. I'm doing 52. Speed limit's 45, and people are on my back bumper flashing their lights at me because I'm driving too slow. If my brakes were any good, I could brake check them, but my brakes ain't good. But yet, the Earth is changing. The time we're in is changing. One of the things that I wanted to kind of get across, why I want you guys to watch that video, what this fella is talking about. And I know this is something all of you have experienced. And I'll tell you what I'm experiencing. And, you know, whether or not it applies to you, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure the majority of you can definitely understand what I'm talking about. My life has been spent that I've always been happy, always in a good mood. Just absolutely refuse to dwell on anything that's going to bring me down. I have health issues like the majority of us here. Some of the things I have going on are pretty bad, but I don't talk about them. I don't mention the name of what's going on with me. I don't want to give it any power, and I try to remain focused on, you know, what's ahead of me, my path, my journey. Be happy all the time, and just try to share that with others. Just spread the love, so to speak. You know, just try to help keep other people in good spirits and help guide them or lead them. And there's no better way to lead anyone other than by example. You know, do right, live good, be happy, treat others well, and those that are closest to you will follow suit. And it's contagious if you do it right. And I've always focused on that, just being kind to people and doing whatever I can to help people, regardless of who they are. Just trying to help, do my part. But as much as I want to live my life being happy every day of the week, every minute of every day, I wake up now, and this has been about 2 years now. The last year has gotten pretty bad. But I'll wake up and I am just extremely agitated. I'm just ill at the world. And And I'm right at that borderline of just going off the deep end. I fight this. I'm not mad at anybody, but I've got this just deep-rooted aggravation that I wake up, I'm aggravated, and I have to be really careful. If Kim says something to me, I have to absorb it, think about it, and really focus on answering so that I don't snap at her or snap at anyone else. And I've never had to deal with that. And I just 7 days a week, I don't feel right. Something ain't right. I thought I was having major issues, health issues, and I'm petrified of doctors. I'm scared to death of doctors, and I got some stuff going on right now that I really need to go get checked. But my fear of doctors is greater than my fear of death, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is. That's just the fear I have on this planet. I fear the Father in heaven. I fear these Sasquatch and these other creatures, and I fear doctors. I don't have a legitimate excuse. It's me. It's a phobia, and it's called white coat syndrome, and it is a real phobia. And I didn't know that until last year. The doctor, I finally went and sought help because I thought something very serious was happening with me, with a brain issue or a heart issue. I thought it was something very, very serious. So after Kim and everyone else just, really nagging at me to go, I went to the doctor. I've had several blood panels done. They've run urinalysis. I've had all kinds of tests ran on me, and I've got a few minor issues. My thyroid was out, my testosterone level is out, and my blood pressure is high. They got that, the testosterone thing they haven't done anything about, but they got the other issues. Everything's good, but I still feel out of sorts. Something just isn't right. When I listened to that video, I got it on my phone, the one that I'm going to put in the description. This fella he talks about that too. Evidently people have written him, emailed him, they've talked to him on the phone, commented. People experiencing the same thing. Something ain't right. And I am beginning to believe that the earth puts out a frequency called the Schumann resonance. That's the vibration that the earth emits. Everything on earth is tuned to that frequency, to where we all we mesh. But I've seen a lot of videos and studies I found online from different scientists from around the world that the Earth's frequency is really out of sorts. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's out. When it goes out, it affects every living being on the planet, from the insects to the animals to the plant life. It affects everything. And if your frequency, your heart creates a frequency, if that gets off, it can make you extremely sick. It could end your life. It could kill you. It's serious. If it were just me experiencing that, then it would be maybe a heart issue or just my frequency being out for some reason, but it's not. The people that have studied or looked into it to find out, is it 1 out of 10 people experiencing it? Is it 1 out of 100? The people that are looking into it, it's across the board, just about 100% of people that are alive and that have participated in whoever's doing these studies, they too are experiencing the same thing, where there's something off. You go to the doctor, you get tests run, they check everything, and there's nothing wrong with you according to their tests that they perform, but yet something's off. And I've picked up on it, and it's just every day of the week I feel like this, and I have to force myself to get dressed and to get going, and that's just not me. There was never a time in my life that I had to do that. I've been sick. I've been extremely sick. And one thing I don't do is lay in bed or lay on the couch. I've had the flu. I've had the cooties. I've had a lot of different sicknesses that will bring you down pretty severely. And I'll be in the woods walking around, hiking, filming the environment. I'll be hunting, fishing. I'm going to be out doing something. I'm not going to be in the bed. And these days, I have to force myself, make myself to get going. And I don't like it. Is this what so many people have talked about? They're calling it the Great Awakening. Then they're calling it I can't remember now, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but where spiritually, human life, we're supposed to evolve to another level spiritually. There's just thousands upon thousands of people that have researched a lot of the ancient tablets, the ancient writings, and this, whatever this thing is, we're in it now, supposedly in it now, to where we get this, we get elevated. I can't remember the word, guys, I'm sorry, but it's the spiritual side of us really explodes, and enlightenment, that's the word I'm looking for. We're in a time of enlightenment, or what just thousands of people have mentioned. They've written books about it. You see it everywhere. Is that where we're at? I don't know, but it's a strange time, and I just wanted to mention it. You guys, check out the video. I've gotten the link below, and if you see our sister Nancy McDonald, if you see her in the chat or you see her anywhere, just give her some love and thank her for sharing that with me so that I can share it with all of you. It's a very fascinating video, and it did open my eyes to a lot, but it's also gotten my attention on things that have been happening that I knew were happening, but I never really thought about what's causing it, why it's happening. It's this odd feeling. I've been thinking it's just me. Something's going on with me, with my health, caused me to feel this way. But evidently, it's pretty much worldwide. But anyhow, y'all have a wonderful afternoon. God bless you all. I love you. We'll absolutely see you again soon. I got to run in here right quick, get a couple things, and then I'm headed home. But y'all have an amazing afternoon. Be blessed in all you do. If there's anything I can do for you, or if you need to reach me at all, If you have anything you'd like to share, anything at all, my email is standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com, just like our channel name. standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com, and I'll certainly see you soon.